and welcome back to the CEF1R's Roundup. It's the second episode, but the first race in Melbourne is over. The weekend was very exciting and fast, so let's not wait any longer and get right in with practice. Friday and Saturday hosted the first practice sessions of the custom era. King Dawson topped the time charts in both FP1 and FP2 in the Koenigsegg C-3. Many other teams were showing pace, but then Go-Mike of RCR was fastest in FE3, breaking Melbourne's track record. Leading on to qualifying, a lot of teams surpassed expectation in Q1. King Dawson was fastest. The MFR of Kid the Shadow was knocked out along with McLaren's Useland. Kid the Shadow failing to even set a time. In qualifying too, Acefire was fastest, knocking out Draft, Lano of Mazda, Sunset's Monk, and shockingly, Go-Mike. But then moving on to Q3, King Dawson got Koenigsegg's first pole position of the season, followed by his teammate, Berto Beppe. And Acefire followed in third. The RCR of Blade Challenger got P4, with Maserati's YouTube putting in an impressive time for P5, followed by McLaren doing surprisingly well to manage a car into Q3, and so the starting grid for Sunday's race was set. Race day, the most exciting day of the weekend. The drivers set out to do their outlaps to charge up the battery and get set up for the lights. And now the first 5 lights of the season. King Dawson got away well, with Berto falling a couple places to Blade and Hayes. By the second lap, Jay was getting away nicely, and before we knew it, he was long gone in the distance on pure pace. However, Berto managed to keep pushing up again, despite having multiple issues with spins. The Maserati of YouTube also went backwards in an attempt to push around mid-race. Around mid-race, a shock DNF for Acefire called out for virtual safety car for the first time this season, slowing down King Dawson, but not enough as he had built a 23-second gap. Blade kept going strong though, his pit stop pitting around the same times as Go-Mike, Berto, and the Maseratis and others. Berto again pitting later on to get fresh rubber to avoid tyre troubles later on. But in the later stages, Go-Mike, who was gaining decent amount of time on Dawson, crashed out. And to top it all off, he did not pull over into a runoff, despite FIA stewards telling him to. In the end, he was black flagged and put to the back of the field. Not the start to this season he would want. As the final lap concluded, King Dawson won the Australian Grand Prix by lapping the entire field. A very strong drive for them, with Berto following and Blade capping off the podium positions. My team 001 had a decent race, coming P7, one position behind the MFR of Kid the Shadow. Sunset GP had a somewhat disappointing afternoon with P8 for Monk, and with McLaren, who had excited everyone in quali, came P11 with a DNF. A very exciting race to kick off the season. Well, that's all from this weekend. We see you all in Bahrain. Now over to Astros for Tech Talk.
Melbourne has just come and gone, and during the entire Grand Prix weekend, we saw very interesting car designs changing from the preseason testing we had in Hungary. However, there's been 3 teams that have really showed up with their those designs. Those were MFR, Koenigsegg, and RCR. Now, all teams have a very interesting, and all teams have different nose designs. Apart from Koenigsegg and MFR, which, if you look here on the screen, both have a pretty similar, if not the exact same, nose design. Now, the Koenigsegg does look to be a bit thinner, about 0.5 studs thinner, or 0.005 studs thinner, should I say. And this could possibly help with the cowling that's underneath to channel the air and create front and downforce. Now, the RCR is completely different, however. It has more of what we call a toe design. It looks a bit of a toe. We're not sure what the purpose is, but it does really remind us of the olden days when the nose was much higher up and the your legs were up in the cockpit. Now, we're not sure. Maybe this is because it channels air underneath the car much better, and that allows it to reach the floor better, but we're obviously not sure here. Now, during the second free practice session, Koenigsegg revealed, or should I say, tried to hide a brand new nose design on the number 7 car. And that design was really interesting. It straight off from the typical design. As you can see here, it's straight off from the typical round nose shaped design of the old Koenigsegg nose. It had a much more air channel approach to the car. It definitely has an air channel leading out somewhere. We still don't know where that gap is, and we presume it's there to create rear end or front end downforce. Now, obviously, it's very unlikely that this will be ending somewhere in the middle because just of how complex it have to be. Unless we don't know, maybe it could be going out in the middle. But you can see on this image where the air would go in, and we still don't know where it obviously go out. And the drivers, after we heard the radios, reported that it was really stable for them. So maybe this could be something that we would be able to see in in Bahrain, where the teams take a much higher front end stability downforce approach than what they took in Melbourne. Now, surprisingly, they're the only team to do this. Both MFR, RCR, and a few other teams decided not to run this specific design, and it looks really easy to accomplish, but it could possibly be much harder than what it looks to be. So, what could this mean? Now, obviously, here at Tech Talk, we do think that this might be a fixture we might see in France, actually, in Moss. But we might not know. We might see it in another track. We might see it at Silverstone if the design proves good and worthy throughout all these free practice sessions. I want to take a look at the RCR nose a bit closer. As you can see in the picture here, um, again, I referred to it to being kind of an older nose design where it obviously stepped up much higher than what the other nose is, had the design for. It definitely wasn't there to channel air through it. Obviously, it was being flat. It was more of an aerodynamic arrow shape than anything else, which is again really interesting because all these teams have different aero philosophies. We'll delve into that in another episode about aero philosophies, but you can clearly see where the gap is for the air to get channeled onto the floor. In terms of MFR and Koenigsegg, the current Koenigsegg, they're pretty basic aero designs that what seems to be other teams would try to copy if those designs finally come into good aerodynamic fruition. So that's been all from the tech talk. Now back onto the paddock.
So we are now joined by Polar and Polar P7 for your guys in the race. Do you think it was a? Do you think that's an okay result for you guys?
Well, we are lucky. We are very lucky to get 3C, and then we really hold the chances and get P7, and that's well, to be honest, I'm really surprised. But at the same time, we should get back to the drawing board and let's see how can we improve more than P7.
So then, do you think maybe next race you'll be able to improve on that and get an even better result?
If we can hold the chances, yes. If we can't hold the chances, we can try. At least we will try. That's what we're gonna do.
And final question: is there going to be any upgrades to your aero or your package for the upcoming race in Bahrain?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not gonna say it. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't.
Well, thanks for your time, Polar, and hopefully we'll get you back on soon.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
So we're now joined by Astros, team principal of Koenigsegg Honda F1 team. Now, Astros, what is your take on the team's performance this weekend?
It was really excellent. I really enjoyed watching that race, especially from Jay's perspective, leading every single lap, getting Grand Slam as well. In the scheme of things, starting P1 and obviously ending in P1, leading every single lap from the start was absolutely brilliant. I couldn't have asked for a better result from Berto as well. He overcame what I would say a really bad start and a few spins in the first few laps, and then obviously ending it in a really nice second finish to cap off the team's first 1-2 of the season, and hopefully not the last.
Yeah, and do you think there was any luck involved this weekend, or was it all just pure performance?
I feel like with Go Bikes and Hayes' DNFs, there was some luck involved. After Go Bike crashed, I instructed my drivers obviously to stay off the curbs and just careful where they're treading because I did want the wheels to break, and clearly that worked out. But I do feel like it was some part luck. However, Berto did do the drive of his life towards the end after he went on the fresher rubber. And obviously tried hot lapping. Maybe that didn't work, but he still managed to be outplayed by, well, like an odd 30 seconds, which was really nice. And the 1-2 result clearly is just a show to what we could do with pure performance.
Right, and of course Blade got a podium. Do you think that RCR did good enough to get that podium?
I feel like RCR strategy was really weird. I'm personally not a fan of those kinds of strategies. But I feel like it was a well deserved podium, first race back podium, but obviously that could be just one podium out of every single race. And Blade might not get a podium again, but I'm obviously not counting on that. I want RCR to stay competitive, have a competitor this season, and with MFR and RCR also fight for the title. Hopefully, we can keep our braids in tune and hopefully beat them out to be the best of the team.
Right, well done this weekend. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks.